Hi. Um, yeah, I felt like um, talking a little bit today about the state of our world, huh? Uh, and for me, the world's always been a mess. um, I look out there and I wonder how human beings can treat other human beings in that way. And this government and that government and all the wars that have been fought on planet Earth. And it boggles my mind, huh? Um, but what's happening now is different in that we are really going through this transition. We're already in it. And you can see what's happening around the world and that things are really breaking down, the collapse of collective structures, tribal communities no longer having the same impact that they did before. And, um, I remember Ra talking about when the supply chain starts to break down. This is all part of 2027 and the shift that we're in. And I see the supply chain breaking down. I'm in Europe right now, and I'm reading about in the UK how, some places can't get milk, and they're saying, that they showed a map of, from the east going to the UK, and that people might not be able to buy Christmas presents. I mean, all of this, I don't look at it in the details, but I just see the bigger picture of it's breaking down. And for me, it's not something to be afraid of. It's natural. It's the evolution of humanity. It's the next stage for us. But we have to leave this stage behind. We have to leave this phase behind that, we've been living, and our grandparents and our parents and great-grandparents and great-great-grandparents. I mean, it's over 400 years of living in this set thematic, in a sense, that is for all of humanity. It has nothing to do with the individual, it's humanity. And this is shifting, and it's like an earthquake that's happening without it really being an earthquake, but more of an emotional, mental, psychic earthquake where everything is changing. And I'm just so grateful that I have my inner authority, that I am aligned within myself, that I can trust myself, that I don't need to rely on the outside in the sense of trusting what I'm told from the outside. Because, come on, we can't believe anything anymore. I mean, it's pretty crazy how much you can read out there on so many levels. So I trust this. I trust within myself, and that allows me to move in a way that keeps me aligned. And it doesn't mean really, because this I had to learn very early on, it doesn't mean that because my inner authority said yes to something that it was going to be easy, or that it was going to be enjoyable, or it was going to be fun. It just means it's the correct experience for me to pass through, no matter what it is. And I think that in itself really helps me to relax in whatever situation is happening in my life. And yeah, it's such a gift to have this. I never expected to be so secure inside myself, because there's no outer security. I mean, that I don't see it anyway. For me, I don't see any outer security. That the only true security is within. The only true stability is within. And it's quite something, huh? Yeah, and with the pandemic, with COVID, and now all the variants, and and what's happening in Australia, and what's happening in New Zealand, what's happening in other places in the world, and then what's happening in Afghanistan. I mean, it's just like, we really only have ourselves, truly. Yes, I share my life with my husband, but I truly am alone. We all are alone. We come into this world alone, and we really are alone the whole time. When I was young and I was looking to meet that special someone, I actually thought someone would sit next to me in my back seat, and we would just kind of move along together and liking the same things, and yeah, no. No one can sit in my back seat. Yeah, I'm alone back there, and I'm just watching the movie and being aware of myself. It's that's quite an extraordinary way to live. And I know, I really know for me that I would not be where I am now if not for my strategy, and really, really living my strategy. And then when something came to respond to, which doesn't happen that often, let's be honest, we're just in our movement in life. How often does something come that, we respond to? And then I make that decision from my inner authority. And 25 plus years into living this, so far so good, as Ra would say. Yeah, it's I'm in awe of the process. So simple and so hard. Oh, so hard. I hated waiting. I hated waiting. Oh my God. What's going to happen if I wait? Nothing will happen. No one will call. I can't pay my bills, on and on and on and on the mind, And now I get to see the mind for what it is. All that talking I did to myself about me and my life and all of that. I never knew that was all my mind. I thought it was me. I would listen. I'd almost have a discussion. Well, we could do this. Maybe I could do that. Or it was all this back and forth. And none of that was me. It's just the mind. And now I can really relax in the back seat, and the mind doesn't stop talking. It still suggests things to me all the time, or tells me, oh, you've got to do this, or you're really stupid. You should have said yes to that. How could you go, I mean, it has a running scenario on my life, but it's like background noise. I mean, it doesn't affect me. And yeah, it's very amazing. I don't know what else to say. It's just amazing to be living like this. It's like, we're traveling around, we have no home. We go from an Airbnb to a hotel room, or, staying with my daughter, or staying with my sister. I mean, it's just like no home, couple of suitcases and some stuff in storage, and that's it. And with COVID and PCR tests and all of this stuff, it's like, it's just a flow. It's just a flow. It's really amazing. And it's really the experiment that changes everything. Yes, human design. I mean, wow, what an amazing, amazing system. But learning it's not going to transform your life. It will give your mind understanding about the this and the that of you. But to really mutate and transform your life, that needs you to be in the experiment. And it's not easy. And yes, we are alone. We are alone. And I know so many of you are out there and you're alone in your town or in your city or in your country or whatever, experimenting with your strategy and seeing about making decisions according to your inner authority or decision-making process. I felt to create a space online. And the first one is September 18th. It may be the last one. I don't know. If it's not valuable for people and it doesn't really help someone in the experiment, I'm not going to continue doing it. But to try the first one, and it's just a gathering for people in the experiment. I have nothing to teach. I won't be teaching anything, so don't come for any knowledge. It's not a class. It's just a gathering. And it's a space where, projectors will be invited to ask a question or to share a bit about their own experiment. Generators and manifesting generators will be asked if they want to ask a question or say something. Reflectors will also be invited. And manifestors, you guys, you'll just jump in. I mean, I'm not going to ask a manifestor, do you want to say something? It's there, it's an open space. So the first one, September 18th. And for me during these times, it feels to be able to gather with other people who are in the experiment from around the world to, in a sense, yes, we are alone, but we're not alone. There's all these other people who are also experimenting. And, it's not possible depending that everyone can talk and all, but we'll see, it'll be an hour and a half to 2 hours. We'll just see how it works. And yeah, these times, they're very intense for many people, and there's a lot of fear out there and a lot of the selling of news is based on creating fear and trying to control people by fear. There's all of that at play. It's always been at play, but now more so than ever, because there's this underlying shifting that's going on. It's like, whoa, we're only now 2021, 6 more years, and or soon to 5.5. And it's not going to change on a dime. It's going to take time. And, but we're feeling it already. I mean, it's already happening. So for me, the most important thing is to get aligned within oneself, to get inner stability, to trust oneself so that we can move forward as ourselves while everything falls apart around us and we just move through it. We don't need to fall apart with it. It's just a natural process of evolution. And, I am out in the world now. I'm traveling with my husband, and the only thing I have energy for is to how to say it, when it's correct, to support those of you out there who are in the experiment. If you want that support, that's it. Yeah, that's where my energy is for, because I have to have energy left over to live my life and to enjoy this last phase with my husband and my family and friends. And 72, I don't know how many years I have left on planet Earth, so I just want to enjoy them. So a lot of energy is very much used from my life, and the energy that I have in human design is to support others to live their life, because this is the true blessing of this experiment. It's truly, I never dreamed to be living the life that I'm living now. And I've passed through some amazing experiences in this life to get to this space where there's this deep satisfaction and relaxation and kind of a quiet joy when I'm with myself and a more obvious joy when I'm talking. But it's so natural. This is the whole thing. It's natural. It's who we were born to be. It's always been there. It's always been inside. But the mind's covered it over, it's layer upon layer upon layer. And for me, the whole process of living my experiment was the layers were dissolved. They fell away. Sometimes it felt like they were yanked away, and it's painful times you pass through. But then you get to the core, and it's just what is, and it's presence or awareness or whatever you want to call it. And that's what's there. It's in each of us. There's no goal. There's nothing to get to. It's already there. It's just covered over. So, yeah, my hope is that, as many people as possible can relax into that space, because it's an amazing space to live from, especially these days, huh? Okay. Well, I look forward to next time. And until then, bye for now.